Welcome, everyone. Good morning, or whenever you're joining me, wishing you the very best in this day. I hope you're doing well. In the midst of struggle, difficulty, division, animosity, violence, I say, hey, let's dial in for just a few moments here in this day. A space of peace. I say in here, we're trying to confront the emotions that we're trying to avoid. Do you experience that in life? Do you have emotions? It's like they pop up, it's like we're trying to avoid them. But do they keep coming back? See, do we need to confront them in order to release them, in order to let go of them? If we're trying to find ultimately, which is what I want here, a mental space of peace and contentment. We say we're not seeing that in the world right now. We're not seeing peace and contentment, love, light, joy, and health flowing out in our society when we say we can feel so burdened by that. I know I do. Man, last weekend, this is tough for me. I say, hey, I'm going to just lean into health. We got to take care of ourselves first. We got to move toward healing and health. Look toward the light in our own life in order to find a space of peace and contentment. We take that peace, contentment that we find, and then let's radiate it out into the world that needs some more of that. Many times in order to get to a space like that, we have to confront some sort of barrier. Many times the barriers that we really face, they're emotions. Maybe those emotions came because of some traumatic experience. It could be a traumatic experience we're not even really aware of. Maybe we buried it so deep down in there that we do not even consciously recognize it. Queen of Heaven is here. Hello, good morning. How are you today? I hope you are well today. Nice to have you with me here. Help to process these emotional barriers. Then we flow forward in the best way possible toward health and healing. This is what I want for people. I want a healing space. And let us dive into it here. I'm going to use another section of this book, The Mountain Is You, to frame our thinking. This is out of a section titled Confronting Repressed Emotions and Taking Action. And I love this. You know, a big thing that we have been talking about, building awareness. And building awareness, yes, is good, but I love where this is going. Okay, start with the awareness and then move into action. They say here, there's a difference between understanding why we self-sabotage and the act of no longer self-sabotaging. See, this is the move from awareness into action. From awareness of why things are the way they are to the process of allowing them to be different. Bringing all of our creative mind to shaping the reality as much as we can. We say, especially in a time like this, okay? A lot of things happening in the world, at least from my perspective, I say, I wish it wasn't happening. It just shows us like we are not really in control here in any practical way. We especially don't have control over external things to ourselves, much as we wish that we did. Do you ever feel this way? It's like we barely have control over our own personal selves. Oh man, this is like a huge thing that we're trying to do. It's like, let's just, apart from controlling political events and all kinds of things happening, can we even control my own self? I know sometimes I set out to do something. I'm like totally dialed in. Do you ever find this? And then, oh, you're doing the opposite thing. It's like, why? It's like before you even thought about it, remember how much of the psychology we got into thinking fast and slow, really teasing apart the mental processes. But there's actually two different mental processes going on. This automatic decision making, you could just flow through it. Got to be really thoughtful to move into that space and actually change it. See, we're trying to do the deepest work here. We're trying to get down to the root level. This is what, in my view, medicine really should be about. Not covering over things, trying to get to the root level so that we can change it once, move on from it. That'd be ideal. A process of changing things, though. It isn't usually a one and done. It's a practice. So they say this means that once we understand the root and the purpose of the behavior, we adjust it. Remember, what we look at often as negative things, bad habits, so to say, things that we don't like, that we want to change, we want to see the good in it too. We say, what is the purpose of this? Why really am I doing this? Most of the time, if we're in a space like that, oh, we did something, I didn't even want to do it. What is happening? Okay, that's a process that helped us at least at some point. It's like and to change that, remember, we want to figure out, why am I doing that? Why has my being, why have I come to be in the place that that's the automatic choice that I make? Okay? Because at some point it helped protect us, either physically or emotionally. Because at some point we were feeling badly and it gave us comfort of some kind. That's the level we want to get to. If we stay at the level of like, oh, I ate the thing. I didn't want to eat the thing. I ate the thing. Okay, but why? That's what we want to get deeper. I got angry, but why? Overcoming self-sabotage is not a matter of understanding why we're holding ourselves back. It is being able, or only, it is being able to take action in the direction you want and need to, even if it is initially uncomfortable. We've talked about that kind of psychology a lot, right? Very difficult for any human being. This is why we have grace with ourselves, right? It's very difficult to change in any sort of domain, right? Any process of change difficult because change is different. Things that are different can make us feel uncomfortable. We tend to want to, sounds pretty good, right? Make the comfortable choice. Who doesn't want to feel comfortable? But then it develops this difficulty where not changing is also uncomfortable. I'm dealing with a problem here. Problem is not comfortable. You see, we're trying to find a space of peace and contentment. We say, I don't feel content here. There's a problem. I don't like how this is. I want it to change. See, now we have discomfort without changing, and we have discomfort with changing. And so that's kind of like, we got a rock and a hard place here. Can't stay the same, don't want to change. Then we can be that can build the anxiety, can it? Where it's like, we just don't really feel comfortable anywhere. So yeah, a space of peace and contentment, what I want for people, should feel comfortable. Nothing wrong with feeling comfortable. But sometimes we have to go through a process, a journey to get to somewhere comfortable, and that's the process of life, is change, because we change. We grow older. We have experiences, good and bad, that become a part of us and change who we are. We have to change in response to ourselves, So even we can't really stay the same even if we wanted to. We have to learn and grow in this existence. I loved what we said yesterday. We're talking about, okay, most people wait to change. I know this has been a big part of my experience. Wait to change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing, and then that becomes the path of least resistance. We said yesterday, this is what awareness is about. We don't have to wait for that point. We don't have to hit rock bottom. We can look at a situation and we can see, I see where this is going, I see that if I don't change, something worse is coming. See, this is thoughtful. And they say, as difficult as it would be to break off in a different direction now, say, this is the prudent thing to do, really. Say, I'm going to try to alter this. I'm not going to flow into a darker space. I'm going to embrace the discomfort of change, help to minimize the discomfort of staying the same. To do this, they say you're going to have to confront the exact emotions that you've been trying to avoid. Yeah, I have more I want to say on this, but let's just think about that for like a little bit. By avoiding emotions, we're trying to protect ourselves, right? We don't want to feel some emotion, whatever it is. Maybe it's fear. That's like a big one, you know? Two of the biggest emotions, this is what people say, fear and greed driving most human activity, right? We're either afraid of something or we're trying to get something. And we vacillate between these two places. Both fear and greed are definitely not places of contentment. They certainly aren't places of peace. And therefore, they aren't really places of health, you know? Like, to be in a true state of health and wholeness and wellness, it's like a profound state of contentment where there isn't any fear about anything, no worry, anxiety gone, not needing anything else. See, that's the opposite of greed, right? It's like content with what we have. Health is here. It isn't somewhere else. Nothing to buy, nothing to purchase. This is where I go with the fasting space, that we don't realize how much energy and power present in the human body, that we are not so dependent on other things. This is how we take the physical practice of fasting, bring it into our mental, emotional space, because, see, what we're truly after, you say if this is true for your life, it doesn't have to be. But you say, are we trying to hit a number on a scale or on a meter? Or are we trying to bring a process into our life that helps us to feel content, where we aren't so dependent on external things, and we recognize the peace that we are seeking, and therefore the health and the wellness and the wholeness that we're seeking is always here, okay? The process of getting it, you say, but it's here, but I don't feel it. Okay, the process of helping it to manifest in our life, process of removing things, is not buy something else, is remove things, say no to things, open up space. When we're opening up those space, okay, we take away the distractions, we turn off the phone for a while, we silence the notifications, we stop snacking on something, if that's the crutch that we are leaning on to help us avoid the emotion, right? Then when we do that, when we take away these things, the emotion is going to come into that space. So we try to avoid it. This is what we're trying to say in this. We don't want to avoid it. If we want to overcome it, we need to confront it. Don't run away. I say hunger is giving us in the body a really physical manifestation of that. Hunger is both physical and emotional. Have you thought of it this way? We feel physically hungry in the body. It can be a very intense feeling, right? Because it's like at the core of our physical being. We need energy to run this bodily system. And when we are trained, and for good reason too, right? There's this flow of energy coming into the body, energy flowing out of the body. And by the flow of energy, I just mean the physical energy of doing work to move your muscles, right? It takes energy to do that. And then as you do that, that energy really flows out of the body. You can see it in the movement. It's also dissipating heat, like the energy flowing out. Right, but it could be very subtle over time. More energy flowing into the body than flowing out. Body trying to save that as a resource for us. What if the famine strikes? Think of our ancestors and making it through some terrible drought, the brutal winter. They don't die, okay? Many of them didn't, even in the harsh circumstance, because like the body is so strong, so much energy. Help people survive. This is the top priority. People think, the top priority should just be, I just want to like look good, I want like 20 pounds gone. Okay, body's like, okay, that'd be nice, okay, but we also want to stay alive. All right, so it's like when you get into the root level of the body, you realize, oh man, there is like more going on here. Like we got to appreciate the body for what it's trying to do, and then we've got to work with it. Okay? So we see hunger is part of that. Hunger gets us to eat, right? Doesn't it do its job? Hunger is like, we need energy. We need to keep eating. You can see that that's like helpful on a certain level. Keep the energy coming when it's here. Body's like, let's take advantage of it. Okay, and then there's the emotional side of it, because these things are connected. It's like when we feel hungry, it's bringing emotional intensity into the whole situation. And that's that line where we start looking at it of the emotional side of it, not just the physical need of the body, but the emotional balm that is healing and at least temporarily helping us to cope with the stress and the difficulty. Open up a fasting space. Now, hunger can be there, the emotional part and the physical part, and then every other emotion, maybe fear, maybe something, it can all merge together. This is why it's such a powerful space, because it is one of the ways, not the only way, but it is one of the ways to directly confront the emotions that are driving behavior that we don't like, that are creating recurring cycles of actions that we say are not leading us in a good direction. You want to move toward it? Okay, open space. That's where these things come in, right? Fasting space, meditation space. Yeah, this is where they go next. When you stop engaging in a self-sabotaging behavior, repressed emotions that maybe you weren't even aware of will start to come up. And they say you might even feel worse than you did before. See, this is the reality. This is why I love this book. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. It doesn't tell you like, oh, look, you just do these couple things, you're going to feel great and all your problems going to be solved. That's not reality. Okay. The only thing we care about is reality. To move towards something that is literally one of the very most important things in our life, overcoming our mountain, whatever it is, it could be different for everybody. Something that could be deep and dark. It could be related to traumas. It could be related to times when we were hurt badly, when we lacked something we really needed. Very hard to just make something like that go away. Okay? Takes time, takes intention, have to be open to these things. The emotions, you can't really process something without actually experiencing it. And yes, in that moment, can that be painful to do that? Of course, we all know it can. This is why we can hide from our emotions. It's not an illogical thing. See, here's more grace to ourselves. So don't feel bad. You say, oh, I've been hiding from it. I've been running away from it. Hey, don't feel bad, right? It's because it's difficult. Right? It is a very logical thing to say, oh, if something is difficult in my life, I want to take some steps away from that. That's the thing, and maybe we need to do it for a while, right? Maybe we need to give the grace and space to do that. But when the time is right, okay, what I'm saying, when the time is right to move toward it, when you feel open to it, when you say, yeah, I want to do the deep work, I want to confront this so that I can overcome it, let go of it, step on top of it up to the next level. Here's what they say here. The thing about this process is that we don't often need to be told what to do. We often know what we need to do. It is simply that we are being held back by our fear of feeling. We've talked about that before. Like the things that we feel resistance to are often the path that we often have to go toward. I talked about that concept a lot when I did my little fasting stone that I say is like this little compass. Told the story of this a while back. They can tell us, like, what are the things that I'm really feeling resistance to? It's like, let's look right at that. What are the things I'm actually afraid of? We aren't really afraid of things that aren't important. If something isn't part of our path, why should we fear it? We don't have to deal with it. But if there is a path that's like, we're trying to become healthier, we're trying to move in this direction, and then it's like, we kind of know in our subconscious, it's like that we need to walk in that direction. But that's why the fear pops up. Like, because we know we might, if we want to get where we want to go, is like, we're going to have to go through that. See, then we feel afraid and we're like, oh, I don't want to do that, you know? That's why when we feel that resistance, we got to look toward it if we want to do this type of process. If we want to flow in the direction of our goal of health, of contentment. Remember, to get to this place, mental peace and contentment, got to let the negative emotions go. The things that are holding us back, the anchors, right? We've talked about that. What are the emotional anchors that are keeping us tethered to the place where we've been? We say we want to be new. You want to be new, you got to go in a different direction. That's the path. Moving through those emotional spaces. What are the emotional spaces that you feel most stuck in? Where do you feel the most resistance when you feel that? What are the things you say, oh, I don't want to go through that. I'm just going to walk in the other direction. Okay to do. Okay to do, but when you're not feeling up for it, then you sit in the space and you just, let it simmer, Sit there, say, hey, I can see, it might be enough in a day just to have recognized it. Say, oh, I see that there is grief here. I see that there is fear here. We don't have to. Remember, we talked a lot about our analogy of the plateau. We talk about weight loss plateaus. People fear that. Remember, we are flipping that upside down. Say, hey, we have made it up to a new place, a base camp, and we can just hang out in that space. Remember, we don't fear a plateau. Plateau is because we made a change. We moved to a different level, and now we're equilibrating, we're adjusting. So it's like, it's enough. Just hang out in the base camp for a little while. And if you can imagine the same physical process that we're going through is also, there's an emotional parallel to it. It's probably even more important, right? When we're identifying root emotions at the core of our being that we're struggling with, like just staying at the base camp there. It's like a health path, a wellness path that is moving toward total well-being that we want, both physically and mentally. It's not a straight line. Don't set up an expectation of having a straight line. It's just like we've paved a road right to the top of the mountain, and we can drive up to it. That was at Acadia. Have you ever been to Acadia in Maine? Cadillac Mountain, I think it was. We went there. We hiked, this whole thing, and then we got up there, and there's all these cars there. Like, oh, you can just drive. On the other side, they got the road, drives you right up. So that's a funny one. Some places you could actually do it, okay? But like, our life isn't like Cadillac Mountain, You can't just really drive up to the top. And so therefore, a winding path and some plateaus. Remember, get to the base camp. Remember, we talked the other week about climbing Everest, that you got to just rest a while and you got to stay. Helps the body to adjust to the altitude so you don't get sick, right? You got to adjust. So if you've confronted something, you realize, okay, I have fear in my life. I have grief here. I have this difficulty. It's just enough to sit in the base camp. We don't have to blast right through it if it feels overwhelming. It's like we want to charge up the battery, right? We want to build the mental capacity. We want to, as much as we can, like we recognize the struggle in life, right? And we realize there's strength here, human being, strong and powerful. We can do difficult things, okay? But the way that we want to do difficult things, as much as possible, is embracing the flow through it. Not struggling with it, but flowing with it and around it and through it and over it. So it's okay. I like the analogy, just walk along the riverbank for a while. It's like maybe you got to ford the stream. You're going to have to get wet. Maybe the water's cold. You don't have to dive in right away. You can just think about it, right? Building up the mental space, getting ready for it. And then start asking these questions. This is what they say here next. Why do I feel this way? Like we've gotten to our base camp. We see the fear of something. We kind of know it looks like the path is through this place of fear. This is what we're saying, confronting the emotion. We know we have to do it, but we're not forcing it. We're trying to understand it more deeply. As we bring the understanding to it, why do I have this fear? Like really to sink into it. Why do I feel this way? Whatever it is. What is the feeling trying to tell me about the action I am trying to take? See, that's the thing. It's like a message. Remember, somewhere way back, and I'm going to get back to it, I want to dive into this wonderful book, The Myth of Normal by Dr. Mate. Disease as teacher. Right? So many things that happen that are negative, we either run away from them or we judge them. But so many of the things that we see as negative have a message. They are a form of communication. Disease, in many cases, is actually like that. Is actually a communication that can show us, if we're open to learning from it, if we confront it, that actually something can change, and that is a process of actually healing many conditions, amazingly, if we really open our mind to it. We'll get back to that big time. What is the feeling? Here we're trying to go in emotional space, right? To try to overcome an emotional barrier that is keeping us anchored in a place. What is the feeling? Say, I'm afraid of something. I don't want to feel something, but why? What are we afraid of really under the layer? We say, okay, fear has two layers. Fear has the initial layer that says, oh, I don't want this. But then we ask deeper, why? Why are we afraid of it? Is there something I need to learn? And then this question, what do I need to do to honor my needs right now? Remember, a lot of times a negative emotion in our life is there because we have unmet needs in the core of our being. We have something that we really want, or some place that we are hurt. We need comfort from something, right? And then the emotions are arising in some way to protect us from having that happen again, which is like, it's good, okay? Or because it is giving us comfort from that, and that's the layer that we want to get to. What are the needs we really have? If we feel stuck, we say we're at a plateau, we're at a space, we're not moving forward, or we're struggling in a place, we feel tethered in place. Say, what do I need to do to honor my needs right now? Say, before we go through that. Like, if we feel intimidated, if we feel overwhelmed, if we can't do it, is that a barrier that is teaching us, say, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do here to build up the strength emotionally or physically so that I actually come to the place where I feel like, I'm ready to take the step now? Because that's the space where I want people, where I would suggest that if anyone is trying to do any type of health practice, from exercise or even cooking, changing what we do, see, changing anything is hard. Any type of health practice, it can be barriers anywhere. And if we're feeling like, we have something we feel called to, but then we can't really make ourselves do it. Do you ever have that? It's like, I know I need to do this, but then I don't do it. I'm just stuck. We don't have the drive to do it. I just think that can be a very discouraging place. It can be frustrating space. I say, let's really look at that space. See, to me, a lot of people will get discouraged in a place. They'll start walking back down the mountain right from that place. But to me, I think when we're in that space, we're wrestling with the things that are actually the very most important. We're right on the edge of the breakthrough. That analogy from Atomic Habits, we're turning up the room temperature. The ice cube is sitting here in this 20-degree room, and then we're turning up the temperature. It's we're getting it right up there, 30 degrees, 31 degrees, and it's which way are things going to go? Melting or back to freezing, It's want to unlock that situation by recognizing the importance of it. That's the first thing. That's a big awareness right away. Can feel in a space, we've gotten into a space. We're identifying something, we feel stuck. We look at that and say, is that a barrier? Is that the thing? If we start recognizing the importance of a space like that, no, this is the threshold. This is the gateway that we have to pass through to get to somewhere different emotionally, and to actually just not run away from it. This is the whole point of the session. Confront the emotions. Sit in the space. Learn from that space. See, that can be very subtle, right? If you think everything that we're programmed in this society now, screens and flashing things and commercials and media, advertising, social media, is to pull back from everything like that. Say, but look where society's flowing. Everything flowing in the direction, people spinning around is we don't hardly know what is true, what is real. How do we even know what to do? To get into a space where we feel stuck, it just immediately feels this isn't valuable space, This feels like a failure. Okay? Wow, take a deep breath here, because you might be very, very close. And especially if you have been intentionally moving towards something. Look, if you're feeling stuck and you're spinning in circles somewhere, but you haven't been intentionally going anywhere, that's a different space. That's its own space. You say, I need to start going, somewhere. But if you have an intention, if you are on a path where you say, I am feeling thoughtful, I know my goal, I'm trying to climb the mountain, right? Whatever it is, a health process you're trying to overcome, whether it's weight loss or anything. It's you're no, I'm moving toward it. I'm dialing in on thoughtful processes. I'm writing this stuff out in my journal, and I'm giving myself whatever mental space I can. I'm carving out 10 minutes to just kind of sit and breathe for a bit and try to open up the space. And now I'm going here. It's but I feel stuck. Okay, that is gold in my view. That's gold at the heart of the mountain, that we're trying to mine out of there, to ask questions like this. Is there something I need to learn? Then, they say, you reconnect to the inspiration, to your vision for life, what it is. What is it? We're trying to create it. We're trying to build on it. Get clear on why. And then make a change when you're ready, right? When you're ready, make a change. This is where we're going in this session, right? From the awareness to the action. That's the step, the critical step from having things being a thought process to making them tangible in our life. We're at the base camp. We're floating along, okay? We aren't charging up the mountain full steam before we have adjusted. We're asking the questions. And when the time is right, do you feel it, right? We're trying to bring all of our mental energy to bear on solving the most important questions that we have. How do I overcome the barrier in my life? What are the emotions that we need to step over? Maybe we can think we're just walking around them, we're contemplating, and when the time is right, we keep at tenacious, right? We're keeping after it. We don't have to dive in the river right away, but eventually we want to do it. And when the day is right, when the time has come, when we feel inspired, we take our best shot, recognizing, okay, there's no guarantees in life. Thomas Edison, like famous inventor, made the light bulbs, We are so grateful for it. He says, I didn't so much invent the light bulb, I just figured out 10,000 things that didn't work, okay? So we try something that didn't work, like, well, okay. It's like but then we're learning, right? And every day there's an opportunity to learn. We are learning, how do we, in our unique situation with our history and our difficulties, how do we move forward in our life toward health? We got to learn to do that. We got to learn the way of being. Learn the way, so we take an action. When your motivation is the fact that you want to live a different and better existence, you're going to find that a lot of the resistance fades because you're being pushed by a vision that is greater than your fear. That's what I say, you're struggling with fear. Build a vision that is greater than your fear and move into that. How beautiful is that? Love that. That is a way of being that is healthy and positive and looking toward the light, right? Not fighting with something or struggling something, building a big, beautiful vision and moving toward it, right? Isn't that the health process that would be sustainable? Think how many times we are punishing our way to health, punish ourselves, say, I'm a big exerciser. I want to be strong. I did my sessions on here. I run a marathon. I want everybody strong. Okay. You got to exercise. You got to use the body to make it strong. But that expression, just like a fasting expression, should be a joyful, positive expression of health. How many people punishing themselves? How many people actually hate going to the gym, but they force themselves to do it because we haven't done the deep work of getting into the emotional space, and people have anger, and people are punishing themselves. And the worse people feel, the more intense they do it, because hopefully nobody does, but if you do, be open to it. You have even self-hatred, right? It's like we're so far away from love for ourselves that we are trying to punish our way to health. I've interacted with a lot of people over my time in medicine that have treated themselves this way. And I would say I can even recognize in myself that I have done that. Okay, this is not sustainable, though. This is the type of way that can work. Okay, so here's the perverse part of that. You start punishing yourself in the gym, you can get results from that, okay? It doesn't matter. A body's going to respond to some exercise. You go start exercising, you're moving the body, you're going to get stronger. And then this can give us very negative reinforcement on our process. Oh, the more I beat myself up, look, the stronger I'm getting. Maybe we even do lose some weight. But are we getting to a better emotional space where we say we have more peace and contentment in our life? This is the process. Yes, you will hurt yourself. Okay, absolutely. I've encountered a lot of people who have gotten in a cycle like that, and it was working, okay, quote unquote, until they hurt themselves. And then everything really unravels, because it's like we haven't found contentment. We haven't fixed relationships with food. Now we can't exercise. Now every outlet for that is gone. It can really spiral badly. I tell everyone, please don't punish your way to health with exercise. Please don't punish your way to health with fasting. Everything that I am here trying to tell people is that fasting is a process of openness. To me, it should be embraced always in the very, very most thoughtful way, full of curiosity and just a joyful exploration about the physical capability of the body to do something that people don't think it can do, right? Our society thinks, man, I don't eat all the time. I'm just going to wither away right away. It's like, I couldn't believe it the first time I started practicing fasting and to flow through a space where I was hungry and I didn't eat. And then the hunger went away. I'm like, are you serious? And then I felt better. I'm like, whoa. And then I had been struggling. This was 10 years ago. I'd been struggling to lose weight. I was definitely punishing myself, I was running 50, 60 miles a week, I'm just huge. I mean, a lot of it because I was so embarrassed. I'd put on, this weight. I was envisioning myself, I'm going to be the healthiest, strongest person. Now I'm a young doc. I was pretty insecure, when I was starting out, and I just felt like I always thought I should be the healthiest, person so I can lead other people to be healthy. And I was like, I don't even know how to do this. Like I have this huge loans. Oh my gosh, huge loans coming out of medical school, pay for this premium, medical education. I can't even make myself, the weight I want. It was so frustrating, embarrassing, something. I was really miserable by it. And I start to see a fasting space. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I struggled for multiple years of just running myself just ragged. I got very strong, okay? I was running very fast. So, like, see, it's not that it's all bad, okay? But I was not mentally stable with it. I wasn't even really enjoying it. I mean, I love to run, but I wasn't even really enjoying it. I was frustrated. I'm like, why is this not working for me? Hit into the fasting space, and that was like the unlock, where I was like, create the openness. See, that was joyful to me. I want people to find it joyful. If you're coming into a fasting space, you feel overwhelmed in any way, you're not feeling joyful, I tell people don't do it, please, okay? Moderation, everything moderation. That's another space, like we were saying, floating along the river, okay? You just look at it. You say, you don't even have to do it. Like we were saying the other day, fasting to me is a mindset, even more than a physical practice. It's like, if you physically are not in a place, is not jiving, never force yourself through it. Just like we don't force ourselves like this. We don't force ourselves through our fear, but we confront it. The process of moving through it, yeah, it's never forced. Pretty much, very few things in life get better by forcing things. Hard to come up with examples. Things in the short term, right? Some things can look like they're working. We force ourselves into the gym even when we don't want to. Can look like it's working for a while. Maybe it is working in some fashion for a while. But the path of joy is what is sustainable. We have to find the health practices that are bringing joy to our life. Then when we do them, then they're a wellness practice. See, one person is forcing themselves into a fasting space. Imagine that. They watch some video online. They say, oh, you do this, and then like this is like just the way to lose weight, and then they do it even if they don't really want to do it, and then they're feeling hungry, but they haven't came to the emotional space where that feels like the right thing to do, where they really want to do it, and then that'll build the negative reinforcement every time they're doing this. Mentally, this is why the mindset has to be the most positive space. When you get the mindset in the positive space where you feel called to it and it is a path that is joyful, then you can flow through it. That's the only way that it could be sustained, in the long term, in my experience. I could never do it if I didn't want to do it, And so that's what I tell you. If you don't want to do any health practice, gym, cooking special foods, a fasting thing, whatever it is, just give things space. Like this is saying, ask the questions. What do I need to learn? What am I afraid of? Why do I feel that way? And when you feel like, I think this might be the thing to do, then gently move toward it. See, the body responds to anything. You start gently moving toward exercise, body will respond to it. You're not pushing yourself over some limit. That's why I tell people walking, probably the world's healthiest activity. It's like if you can just take a walk totally free, see nothing forced. If you feel better mentally taking a walk, you feel better physically. Sometimes on this path, they say you might run into emotions such as anger, sadness, or inadequacy. When those feelings come up, it is very important to make space for them. This means allowing them to rise up in the body and observe them. So not judging them, right? You want to move beyond something that, are you struggling with any emotions like that? Don't judge them. Don't run away from them. Give them space to observe them. Watch where they make you feel tense up. Feel what they want you to feel. Boy, see that? Isn't that a piece of advice? Feel what these emotions want you to feel. So many times, see, when we run away from them, these feelings want to get out. This is what I really think. I think a lot of feelings of negativity, they're trying to come out. The process of releasing them, right? We know the analogy, like don't bottle everything up inside, right? Somebody say, oh, we just bottle it up inside, and it just stays. Right? Think of grief. You're mentioning grief, right? Grief, I don't know how these things really work, and we can personify an emotion like it's a being or a thing, grief, what is it? How does this work? I don't know, but grief wants to be experienced or felt. And so we don't want to feel that. So we bottle it up. We pretend everything is okay, but then we haven't felt it. I think a lot of the process that this is describing, open up the space and actually feel the negative emotion and just let it run its course. As long as you're safe, right? If you are dealing with a severe process, a deep depression, if you have suicidal thoughts or something, please connect with a thoughtful healthcare practitioner to, in any of these spaces, this is the thing, you don't have to do it alone. I always encourage everybody, get a counselor, work with a therapist, talk with a friend. Part of the process of allowing these things to be felt and experienced is to communicate, to share, to express. The opposite of bottling them up is just to experience and feel and share. And if that burden is very heavy, because so many things in life are so dark that we have experienced, okay? You have a friend, another human being to share the burden with, okay? If you want to overcome it, if you want to move beyond it and release it, who knows another way to get an emotion out other than this? Most processes we go through about burying something, bottling it up, suppressing. The path, and then that is the thing in my view, like to hold it there takes energy. Don't you feel that? It's like we got sub-processes running. It's like the beach ball that we're holding under the pool. You got to keep working there, and if you let go, that's what it wants to do, right? It wants to come out, and then that is actually the process to actually confront it, stop trying to avoid it. And I'll tell you, many people experience this. You can move on from these things, and this is what we want. When we move on from things like that we've been bottling up, it opens up the resources, all the resources we were putting into holding that beach ball under the pool. We can now free up that energy to taking the next leg up on our path. It's like we're trying to climb a mountain. We're trying to accomplish some process. We made it to a certain level. It's like we're digging through all the things that are holding us back. Releasing every anchor and burden. This is the path to wellness, right? This is the path to mental peace, contentment, staying away in our life from every type of fear and greed and every distraction that is trying to push us off a path, trying to make us unhealthy, trying to intimidate us from taking the bold and decisive action that will actually lead to health. Not a lot of forces in our society today trying to push people into better health. Wouldn't that be like the total opposite? Like right now, we got a lot of forces pushing us in directions that are unhealthy. Like you don't have to do anything, like just do this, like just buy this product, it's going to fix things for you, okay? It's like we feel pushed this way. Everywhere we turn, there's advertising and marketing telling us, like, you need to do this and this and this, okay? Wouldn't it be amazing if every time we had experiences like this, it was just the most positive, experiences. Like, everywhere you turn, you are strong and powerful. There is energy within you, and you can walk your path today. You can make difficult choices. You are here. It's like, this is what I want. So, like, for this space to be just encouragement to filling people up with, like, the very most positive ideas, that you are a strong, powerful, capable person, and that there is energy here available to you, and that there are tangible steps that you can take to move forward in health, and that the actual process of health and healing can be joyful and positive, and you don't have to consume or buy anything in order to do it, that really what we just have to do, say no to so many things, cut them off. I love that. Cut off these things and give space for health to flourish, and give space where we can do the deep work of identifying the things in our own life and our own decision making that are keeping us from taking powerful steps forward. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Trust yourself. So much of our society, we live in this expert culture where it's like you can only just do something that some important, knowledgeable person just tells you, oh, this is the thing to do. But what do you feel, What does your gut tell you, It's like, listen to that. We dove deep on that yesterday about sometimes, we can question our own feelings. Sometimes our feelings are based on cycles or patterns that aren't taking us in a good direction, right? But then we're very thoughtful. We dig deep, and we realize there's a lot of knowledge that we have about our situation in here. And we can learn to trust ourselves too. Listen to this. If you're angry, this is just an example of this process. If you're angry about how one of your parents treated you, it probably won't come as a surprise that the core feeling of why you are sabotaging your relationships is anger and mistrust. Because these things are cycles that feed back around. Can even feed around if you see through generations. Whoa. The feelings associated with self-sabotage are usually not random. In fact, they can lead us to deeper insights about what we really need and what problems within us are still unresolved. That's pretty deep, I think. Here's how they end this section. Listen to this. To fully release those feelings once you are aware of them, try writing yourself a letter. Write something to your younger self from the perspective of your future self. Remind yourself that you love yourself too much to settle for less. That it is okay to be angry in unfair or frustrating circumstances. Give yourself the space to experience the depth of the emotion so that they no longer have to control your behavior. That is so profound in my view. Look what it's saying. When we are bottling this stuff up, when we are keeping it in there, we allow it to control us. Right? They say here, give the space is what this whole experience I'm trying to be. Fasting space for body and mind. Space to experience it. Allow the grief to be experienced so that it can be released. Then it does not have to control us any further. Whatever the negative emotion is, the anger, It's okay. Look what it says. Like you say here, acceptance. Accept the anger. Don't bottle it up. Don't keep it there. Experience and feel it. Does it have a legitimate reason? Why? See, this is the thing. Why is the anger there? And is it actually legitimate? Does it need to be experienced and expressed? Same with anything. Sadness is maybe where we need the counselor. We need the friend. Help us feel it. Can be overwhelming, right? Anyone who's having any overwhelming experience, reach out for help, connect with a friend or a fellow human being, a health professional, someone who can help walk along that space with you. We don't have to do it alone unless we want to, unless we are called to, unless you feel the power of it and you say, I am walking on this path, and you have the mindset, and the journal is that for you, and you write it out. If you feel like, no, I am on the path, I am moving forward, okay? Like, lean into that. That's beautiful, right? But don't stay in a space alone where you're stuck in a dark and difficult space when someone can come alongside you and help you, okay? So nice to share this space with you. Thank you for being here. Let's do the very important and therapeutic work of confronting difficult emotions. Has something been coming up for you? I know it has for me. It's like, I'm giving you my reflections. I'm thinking through my own things. Let's confront any barriers that we have today, experience them, and I'm going to pull out my journal and I'm going to write them out. And let's move toward love, light, health, healing, peace, contentment, joy, every positive thing. In the midst of every struggle and difficulty that we see in life, we do our very best to take the most positive step forward in health that we can today. Wish you the very best. Look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Be well, everybody.